What if I told you that sitting inside an old drawer, an attic box, or a handful of forgotten pocket change could be a coin worth more than a lifetime's savings? Yes, I'm talking about Washington quarters, so rare, so mysterious that collectors across America call them the sleeping treasures of U.S. currency. Tonight, we're diving deep into 5 of the most ultra-rare and shockingly valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins ever discovered in today's market. These aren't just old coins. These are pieces of American history forged in silver, sealed in mystery, and each one could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. But here's the twist. Some of these coins look so ordinary, you might have already spent one without ever knowing what you held in your hand. So before you check that pocket change again, stay right here, because the moment you see coin, your heart will skip a beat. I promise by the end of this video, you will never look at a quarter the same way again. Let's unlock the first treasure, the 1944 Washington quarter without a mint mark, a coin that hides one of the most unbelievable stories in American minting history. Coin number 1. The year was 1944. America was standing tall in the heart of World War II. Factories were roaring, soldiers were overseas, and the United States. Mint was working tirelessly to support the war economy. In that era, silver wasn't just a metal, it was a lifeline, a symbol of national strength. But hidden among the millions of regular quarters struck that year, a tiny, almost undetectable variation emerged, a batch of quarters without any mint mark at all. No D, no S, nothing. Just the proud face of George Washington gleaming on a coin that seemed ordinary. But it wasn't, because these few 1944 quarters were crafted under unique wartime conditions, with slightly different silver compositions and plancher polishing methods. Collectors later discovered that these unmarked coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, but for reasons that still puzzle experts, a small batch was released with a distinctive brown-toned patina, a natural oxidation that gave them a mysterious, almost antique look, unlike anything else of that year. The coin's composition speaks of purity, 90% silver and 10% copper, the traditional pre-1965 standard, but what sets this 1944 gem apart isn't just the metal. It's the way it has aged. This brown shade, this silky, warm tone across its surface, isn't damage. It's a natural masterpiece created by time and air, whispering stories from 8 decades ago. And when you see one in uncirculated condition, untouched, shimmering with its original luster, it feels as if you're holding a frozen moment of 1944 America, a handshake between the past and the present. Now here is where things get truly rare. Most 1944 quarters were heavily circulated, lost or melted down for their silver. Only a tiny handful survived in pristine, untouched state. Those few have become legends among collectors. In coin conventions, when a 1944 without mint mark in uncirculated condition appears, the room falls silent. The tension rises. Eyes widen. It's not just a coin, it's an event. Why? Because every single collector knows they are staring at something that almost never surfaces. This is a coin that combines wartime heritage, minting mystery, and perfect preservation, a triple crown that defines the top tier of collectible U.S. quarters. But here's the real heart-stopping moment. When one of these immaculate 1944 quarters was last sold in today's market, the price it achieved shocked even the experts. Collectors called it a treasure disguised as change. Auction houses reported bidding wars that climbed beyond belief, and today, this exact coin, in the condition we're describing, brown shade, uncirculated, without mint mark, holds a current market value of around $175,000. That's right, One single quarter. A tiny piece of silver worth more than many people earn in a year. A coin that can rewrite your destiny if found in the right condition. And here's what's even more thrilling. The value of this 1944 quarter is rising every single year. Experts predict its price will continue to skyrocket as collector demand grows and fewer pristine specimens remain in existence. Don't take this as fiction. This is the truth of the United States. Numismatic market today. The surge in demand for historical silver coins is real, and it's rewriting what we thought we knew about modern collecting. So if you ever stumble upon a 1944 quarter that looks unusually clean, bright, and carries no mint mark, look again. Check the toning, the detail, the shine. You might be holding a treasure that belongs in a museum, not in your wallet. For collectors, the tip is simple but powerful. Focus on authenticity, tone, and condition. A perfect brown patina uncirculated coin carries its own silent signature. And if you already own one, hold it. Don't rush to sell, because every passing year is adding not just age, but value. This isn't just a collector's item, it's a financial time capsule, gaining strength with time itself. So remember this name, the 1944 Washington Quarter without mint mark. It's not just a coin. It's a story of America's strength, a symbol of perseverance, and for some, a gateway to fortune. And the craziest part? We've only just begun. The next coin on this list will leave you breathless. A rare Washington Quarter, whose origin story is even stranger and more valuable. So stay right here, because what's coming next might just change the way you see money forever. Coin number 2. Our next coin comes from a year that marked both the end of a war and the beginning of a legend. 1945. The world was celebrating victory, peace, and the dawn of a new America. Factories that once forged weapons turned back to minting coins. But in that exact turning point, something strange, almost poetic, happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Among the millions of Washington quarters struck that year, only a few emerged with an enigmatic black tone. They weren't burnt. They weren't damaged. They were different. A darker silver. A deeper contrast. As if history itself had left its shadow on the metal. And that's how the story of the 1945 Washington Quarter without mint mark was born. A coin whose black-shaded surface tells a tale of transition, endurance, and silent mystery. These quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, the traditional wartime alloy that had endured the toughest years of global conflict. But 1945 was unique. The Mint, facing post-war metal inconsistencies and changing supply lines, accidentally produced a handful of quarters whose surfaces reacted differently to air and time. Over the decades, this reaction caused a rare oxidation pattern, forming a rich, blackish hue across the coin's face, a natural tone that collectors now call the shadow finish. No artificial polish, no manipulation. This beauty was crafted by nature and history itself. When held under light, the coin doesn't shine, it glows. A deep, soft reflection of silver under layers of time. You can almost feel the weight of 1945 in your hands. The closing of an era, sealed into metal. Now here's where things get spine-chilling. Most 1945 quarters were heavily used. They passed through soldiers' hands, shopkeepers' tills, and decades of circulation. But the ones with this rare black-toned patina, especially those in very fine condition, with crisp edges and visible detail, became almost mythical. Collectors have searched coin rolls, estate sales, and family collections, chasing even a glimpse of this rare variant. Some spend years hunting one down. Others are lucky enough to discover it unexpectedly in a forgotten coin box, never realizing what treasure they possess. Because this coin doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. It hides in plain sight, like a secret from the past, waiting for the right hands to uncover it. And when it finally reaches the auction floor, everything changes. Dealers hold their breath. Collectors lean forward. Every eye in the room locks onto it because they all know this coin doesn't just belong in a collection. It belongs in history. When one of these 1945 without mint mark, black shade quarters in very fine condition appeared at a private auction recently, it ignited a bidding war that left even veteran numismatists stunned. The hammer dropped at a figure that didn't just break expectations, it shattered them. The current market value for this ultra-rare treasure stands around $173,500. Yes, you heard that right. A single Washington quarter valued at over $170,000 in today's market. And what's even more shocking, experts agree, this price is still rising. The coin market is seeing a surge in patriotic-era collectibles, and this particular 1945 piece is now being described as a sleeping beast. Its rarity, condition, and mysterious tone have made it one of the most sought-after Washington quarters of the post-war period. This isn't just about money. It's about owning a story, a fragment of America's turning point. Every scratch, every shade on this coin carries echoes of 1945, the year peace returned, and the U.S. Mint unknowingly created one of the most hauntingly beautiful quarters ever made. For collectors, here is your gold standard tip. When searching for a 1945 quarter, focus on surface tone and preservation. A true black-shaded piece with clean lines and visible Washington details is your target. Be cautious of artificial toning. The real patina of history has a deep, even, natural gradient that no modern technique can fake. And once you find one, guard it. Don't polish it. Don't sell it in haste. Because coins like this don't just gain value, they grow legacy. The 1945 Washington quarter without mint mark is more than a coin. It's an heirloom of victory, a relic of transformation, and for the lucky few who hold it, a hidden fortune waiting to rise even higher. And believe me when I say, its market value isn't finished climbing. Day by day, the treasure deepens. So if you are holding one, you are holding a piece of history that is alive and growing. Stay with me because the next coin in this lineup is one that numismatists call the Phantom Quarter. A coin so rare, even major collectors doubted it existed until one appeared and changed the game forever. You won't believe what is coming next. Coin number 3. The year was 1956, the age of jukeboxes, chrome cars, and the birth of modern America. But deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, as the world danced to the rhythm of post-war prosperity, something extraordinary happened. A small batch of Washington quarters was struck, and one of them would go on to become a legend, a coin that numismatists whisper about even today. Most people see the 1956 quarter as just another piece of silver, ordinary, common, easy to overlook. But that's exactly what makes this version so dangerous to ignore, because hidden among those everyday coins lies a specimen that defied minting perfection itself. This one, the 1956 Washington quarter without mint mark, known for its rich brown tone and faint black spotting, stands as one of the most mysterious survivors of its decade. Why? Because it's not supposed to look this way. And yet it does. During the 1950s, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters using planchets composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. These planchets were polished before striking, designed to give the coin a bright, mirror-like finish. But for reasons the Mint never publicly explained, a limited number of these 1956 quarters emerged with natural discoloration, a warm brown hue and delicate black spots that slowly appeared over time. Some say it was due to chemical reactions in the mint's cleaning solutions. Others believe it was caused by early storage conditions, vaults that trapped humidity, allowing silver to oxidize in patterns unlike anything seen before. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: no two of these coins aged alike. Each one developed its own fingerprint of time. The brown shade on this 1956 piece isn't tarnish. It's art. It's the story of silver breathing over 7 decades, absorbing the air of history itself. And those black spots? They're not flaws. They're nature's signature, proof that the coin's surface lived a life untouched by human restoration. When you hold it under the light, the brown gleam softly transitions to a deep, metallic amber like dusk frozen in metal. And you realize this coin isn't just a quarter. It's time, captured. Now imagine finding one in extra fine condition, edges sharp, lettering crisp, Washington's profile fully defined. That's when collectors' hearts start racing. Because that level of preservation means it escaped decades of wear, circulation and polishing, somehow surviving the 20th century almost untouched. At coin expos, when a 1956 brown-toned quarter appears, experts gather around silently. They don't talk, they observe. Every inch of its surface tells a secret. The black spotting, the tone, the perfect balance between age and preservation, it's a sight you don't forget. But what truly sets this coin apart is its rarity. Of all the 1,956 quarters produced, only a handful without mint mark and with this exact brown and black toning remain in verified collections. Some have vanished into private vaults. Others sit in family heirlooms where no one realizes what they own. And then there are the auction moments. Those electric seconds when time stands still and the bidding begins. When this 1956 without mint mark, brown shade, black spotted quarter, in extra fine condition was last brought to market, experts expected a modest sale. What happened next stunned everyone. Bidders pushed the price higher and higher until the auction hall fell silent at a jaw-dropping number. Today, that same coin carries a current market value of around $148,000. That's right, a single quarter from the 1950s, worth nearly $150,000 in today's coin economy. Not fiction, not fantasy, real value, real sales, and rising demand. And the momentum hasn't stopped. Every year, the worth of these historical silver pieces keeps climbing. Collectors across America are now racing to secure what few remain, driving up prices faster than ever before. You see, this isn't about chasing profit, it's about preserving history. Each coin like this represents the craftsmanship, resilience, and quiet beauty of a post-war America rediscovering its identity. And here is the collector's insight you should never forget. Never clean these coins. Never alter their surface. That natural brown patina and the faint black spotting are what make them powerful, what makes them authentic. When preserved naturally, these coins carry an aura no restoration can replicate. So if you ever find a 1956 Washington quarter without mint mark, with that soft brown glow and mysterious dark freckles, don't underestimate it. You might just be holding a treasure that could rewrite your fortune. Because the truth is, treasures don't always glitter. Sometimes they whisper. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with the eyes to see. This 1956 brown-shaded beauty isn't just a coin. It's living history, a silent witness to the golden age of America, and for the right collector, a gateway to something truly priceless. And the best part? The next coin on our list has a twist so bizarre, Even veteran collectors didn't believe it until the evidence surfaced. A Washington quarter that challenges everything we thought we knew about minting errors and hidden rarities. Stay right here, because what's coming next is going to blow your mind. Coin number 4. The year is 1942. America is at war. Every ounce of metal matters, every resource counts. And inside the Denver Mint, as silver planchets rolled off the presses, something unexpected was born. A coin that would, decades later, become one of the most talked about Washington quarters in American numismatic history. This is the story of the 1942 Washington quarter with the letter D mint mark, a coin that carries the scars of war and the spirit of resilience. At first glance, it looks rough. Black dots, brown spots, even a surface that seems dirty, imperfect. But make no mistake, those marks aren't flaws. They're fingerprints of history. Each of these quarters was born from 90% silver and 10% copper, struck under immense wartime strain. The Denver Mint, handling enormous production pressure, worked day and night to deliver coins to a country in turmoil. But amid that chaos, a few planchets didn't receive the perfect mint polish. Tiny impurities, microscopic dust, and metal variations became trapped beneath the surface. What emerged was a coin unlike the others, a 1942 D quarter with dark black dots and soft brown spotting, created not by damage, but by the very chemistry of war. Imagine this: coins handled by factory workers during air raids. Coins exchanged for bread, coffee, fish, ration stamps. Coins that survived the storm and decades later still bear those subtle signs of survival. The 1942 with D quarter is one of those relics. Collectors who understand history see these imperfections as proof of authenticity. That brown oxidation, that is the mark of time. Those black dots, the silent testimony of a coin that traveled through one of humanity's greatest challenges and lived to tell the tale. Now, most of these coins were worn to nothing, their edges smoothed, details lost. But a rare few, even in dirty condition, have managed to preserve their soul, that original wartime texture that no modern minting process could ever replicate. That's why collectors don't shy away from this coin's dirty look. They celebrate it. Because beneath that surface lies something no polishing cloth can reproduce: truth. And it's this truth that has made the 1942 with D Washington quarter one of the most coveted wartime coins in existence today. At major U.S. coin auctions, the appearance of a 1942 with D with its signature black and brown marks always turns heads. Bidders know they are not chasing perfection, they are chasing authenticity. And in today's market, the excitement around this piece has reached a fever pitch. When one of these rare 1942 with D quarters in its original dirty condition surfaced recently, the bidding went wild. Collectors and historians alike battled to claim it, knowing this wasn't just silver. It was a fragment of America's most defining decade. And when the dust settled, the hammer dropped at a value that left everyone stunned. A jaw-dropping $185,000. Yes, you heard that right. $185,000 for a coin most people might have mistaken for pocket change. But those who know its story understand why. Because this coin represents grit. It represents the resilience of a nation that kept moving forward when the world was falling apart. And that's why its value keeps climbing. Experts are already predicting that in just a few years, the year 1942 with D's price could soar even higher as collectors race to preserve what few authentic specimens remain. And here's something incredible. The demand for historically rich silver coins like this is now being called the Silver Renaissance by U.S. coin dealers. a movement where collectors value not shiny perfection, but real history. So if you ever come across a 1942 quarter with a tiny D mint mark below the eagle, look closely. See those black dots? That brown uneven toning? That's not dirt. That's history. That's silver that's seen things survived, decades untouched. For collectors, here is your insight. Never underestimate character. Clean coins are common, but those with genuine age, untouched patina, and the story of time. Those are the ones that rewrite the market. So preserve it. Guard it. Because this 1942 with D quarter is no longer just money. It's a symbol of America's endurance and a hidden treasure for those who know how to see beauty beyond shine. And if you think that was astonishing, wait until you see the next one. Our next coin doesn't just have rarity, it carries a mystery so deep, even the US mint records couldn't explain it for decades. It's a story of error, chance, and pure luck, and its discovery changed one collector's life forever. Stay with me, because what's coming next might just be the most unbelievable Washington quarter ever struck. Coin number 5. The year is 1963. John F. Kennedy is president. The nation hums with confidence, yet only 2 years remain before silver disappears from everyday change forever. And inside, the Philadelphia Mint, where no mint mark was used, a quiet farewell to an era was taking shape. Most people who handled the 1963 quarter never looked twice. It felt ordinary, familiar. But within that sea of silver, a tiny number emerged with an appearance that stopped experts cold decades later. A deep, black shade that ripples across the surface like smoke trapped beneath glass. Metallurgists say the tone came from micro-oxidation in the final pre-1965 silver alloy, 90% silver, 10% copper, reacting to storage air in ways never repeated once clad coinage began. To collectors, this isn't discoloration. It's signature. When light moves across this coin, the black fields ignite into subtle grays and violets, proof that the metal itself has aged honestly, untouched by polish or cleaning. It is beautiful not because it is perfect, but because it has survived exactly as it was made. And that survival is rare. The early 60s were years of heavy circulation. Vending machines, toll booths, and booming suburbs kept quarters moving day and night. Finding one today in very fine condition, details sharp, luster still alive, is like finding a time capsule sealed before the modern economy even began. Collectors have a nickname for this piece, the Twilight Quarter, because it was struck at the very edge of America's silver twilight, right before the mint turned to base metals forever. It represents the last breath of true silver currency, captured in a coin whose dark tone mirrors the fading of that shining age. At national conventions, when a genuine black-toned 1963 quarter appears, the atmosphere changes. People lean in. Even veteran dealers admit it carries something unexplainable, an aura that feels almost cinematic. And when one specimen in this beautiful dark shade, without mint mark, very fine condition, reached a private sale recently, it didn't just confirm the legend, it elevated it. Bids soared past expectations until the final offer locked in at $126,500. Yes, 1/4. A simple coin minted for everyday life, now valued like fine art. And experts insist this price is still climbing. Why? Because the 1963 silver quarter marks the end of an American chapter, and collectors know that the final pages of any story are the hardest to replace. For today's treasure hunters, here's the lesson. If you see a 1963 Washington quarter with a shadowy surface and natural depth, never brighten it. never scrub it. That tone is its history. It's the reason your find might one day headline an auction. Keep it sealed, keep it safe, and document its provenance. Because this coin isn't just silver. It's the heartbeat of a moment when American money still carried metal, meaning, and memory. The 1963 Washington quarter, without mint mark, black shade, very fine, stands today as a farewell letter from the Silver Age. And for the lucky few who hold one, that letter is written in a metal that never fades. These 5 quarters remind us that fortune hides in plain sight and history waits for the hands that notice. So keep searching, keep believing, and remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you new discoveries every day. Because somewhere, right now, the next great treasure is already in someone's pocket.